off on the 8th page of the PDF. That is page Yud Beis. We left off on line 6. And we were asking about how could it be that there is an idea of ubacharta b'chayim? How could it be that rei nasat lefanechas achayim v'sam toiv, etc. To be able to make a choice, there has to be two even types of things, two possibilities. When you have life and you have something that's not life, so then the choices are not a choice. There's no A and B. There's only one choice. So that is the question that we left off in the Maimer now. So now he's going to answer that question as follows. Line 6 on page Yud Beis. Before it's explained concerning this, concerning life, yesh chayim amitim hakshurim mitzias amitis. There is a true life that's connected with true existence, which is the Eibishter. Ach yesh gaim chayim gashvim. There's also physical, material life. She'enam chayim amitim shal mitzias amiti. It's not true life, as it's not associated with a true existence. Ki kol davar gashmi eino nitzchi, because any physical matter and any physical item is not everlasting. But even shalacher is mantis batim mitzius. So since after time, the existence of this physical thing will cease, is understood even while it's existing. It's not considered even now a true life of a true existence. And he's going to give the famous example concerning Naharis HaMachazvim, that for something to be considered a living wellspring, it should be considered a living wellspring. It cannot be that in 6 years and 364 days it dries out. Like it's known the proof from rivers that dry up once every 7 years. Even while the rivers are flowing, they can be full force. But since once in 7 years they stop, so they're considered false rivers. It's the opposite of living spring water that needs to be used when you're making the water for the para aduma to be able to sprinkle on a person that needs to be tahir. It's not called mayim chayim. So therefore, there is true life and not true life. So still again, true life versus not true life, how is that a choice? So he's going to elaborate on this further. Line 16. Since seemingly, superficially, at first glance, you see an entire existence, a huge world. We'll show you like the Pasuk calls it, Godlu Masecha, your actions are so great, V'rabu Masecha, and there's so many. So we actually see an existence that seems to be so massive. When you use eyes of flesh, you see the flesh, meaning the physicality of the thing. As opposed to the spiritual component, we don't see it with our eyes of flesh, but rather, how do we determine it? You need different proofs to be able to determine that there is the spiritual as well. Like in Chassidus itself, it's explained. Human intellect cannot comprehend, cannot grasp what the soul is. We know that there is a soul, but we cannot grasp what it is. And we cannot grasp what spirituality is. The only thing we can grasp intellectually, we can determine that they exist. We can determine that I have a nefesh that's giving me life because I see I'm alive. But what the nefesh is, what the ruchnis is, that we cannot determine. Therefore, since the physical like throws itself in our face, and it's so huge and it's so open before us, whereas the spiritual is not. Therefore, there's the possibility that a person could choose a life that is connected not with the true existence, but it's connected with the physical. Especially that foreign lips will drip sweetness. In other words, it's very attractive. The physical initially is something that is sweet. Therefore, the Torah has to tell us, make sure to choose life, true life. Though from the perspective of flesh, he chooses flesh, meaning the physical, as the pasuk says, the spirit of the animal, including the animal within us, the nefesh habahamis, the flesh, descends below. That's its natural attraction to the physical, the material, and so on. Still in all, the Torah says, choose life, meaning invest yourself, and to contemplate with a flesh type of toil, literally to tire out your flesh, so you should be able to see the truth, top of page Yud Gimel, to choose specifically true life. Now, he's going to take this concept and bring this back to the pasuk that we were talking about before, related to Chanukah, Baoרך, Nirאה. After saying Ki imcha makor Chayim, that the source of life is only imcha, you, Hashem, are so much higher than giving life to the worlds. Then we say Baoרך, with your life, with your light, we will see light. What does that mean? So he says in line 3, that's what it means specifically in your light. We will see, or light will be visible. Though he sees a physical light, that he has benefit from the physical light, and he uses it. This is not an imaginary thing. It's a physical thing that he makes use of constantly. Still, in all tzarech later, the person needs to know, so that the light should be seen and visible in truth. That specifically with your light, the light which is of the mitzvah, and the Torah which is the candle, which is the mitzvah, and the Torah which is light. In other words, there are physical things, but those physical things need to be illuminated with the Torah's light. This means to say, even though we're speaking about physical matters, then seemingly there's a need for physical light, because spiritual and physical are as far as east from west, and even further than the east is from the west, because that's only a physical distance. Here it's a distance between the physical and the spiritual. If so, how can his physical matters be illuminated with a spiritual light, since spirituality and the physical are two completely far away things? And so too, even literally, in simple sense, when I need to perform a physical activity, I need to make a living, when there has to be, that Hashem will bless you, specifically in everything you do. You need to do something through a physical action. In this physical world, the material, coarse world, seemingly, you need to follow the customs and the rules that come from the natural order of things, and even to the natural order of coarse things. The person says, I have a proof from the laws of the Torah that I need to take in consideration the physical material laws. When it comes to matters of business, so halacha says a person needs to take in consideration, needs to follow the custom among business people in their area. If it's assumed when a person says this and this, or promises this and this, they intend to include such and such, so then one is obligated to follow that custom. Based on if he did follow or didn't follow the customs of the business people in his area, so then we determine al pi Torah if this kinyan, if that's this acquisition, the sale is valid or the sale is invalid. And this is Torah's saying so. This is Torah halacha that way. Why is that so? Why does Torah take in consideration the custom of the land when it comes to business? Since we're talking about business matters, a business person has also an opinion. It's not necessarily the customs of the Jewish businessmen. It's just what is the common custom in business people at large in this country, and that establishes, according to Allah, if it was a sale or the sale did not go through. So how do you say that your light, the light of Torah, will illuminate the physical world if when I'm dealing with the physical world, I have to use the physical world's rules and the rules of people in the world and even non-Jewish people in the world? So he says on line 23, to explain why it's Baoרך Nirאה, that with the light of Torah we will see light in the physical. We need the beginning of the pasuk, because with you is the source of life. The kivin shekol inyan Chayim, hu imcha me'akadosh baruch hu. Since the entire idea of life is with you from Hashem Marim Mizem, moving from this understood. Shekidei l'lechas levedach darkei, to be able to go in assuredness and surety on his way. V'tia darkei me'ira, and his road and his path should be luminous. Harei zeh ba'orcha dafka, this is specifically by your light. Ner mitzvah v'Torah oir, the candle is the mitzvah and the Torah is light. He needs to have this pipeline with the one that runs the entire world. So now the Rebbe is going to say the simple pshat in the pasuk and how it reflects something deeper spiritually. Ois Gimel, line 28. The whole explanation that we said in Ois Beis, in the simple matter of this, that because it's Makor Chayim, since you are the source of life, so Orcha, your Or of Torah mitzvahs determines the light in the physical world. So why is that simple mean what it means? The cause for it is because that's the way it is in the inner level, in the spirituality of the matters. Until the idea of the spheres, because the simple things down here in our world came about as a chain descent from the way it is in the spheres. Like it's explained about Marech Chassidus, in the meaning of what it says, with you is the source of life. The level of spheres HaMalchus of the world of Atzilus, Atik Labri Yitzirasi, top of page Yudalid, we know Malchus Atzilus becomes Keser, the Atik, the inner part of Keser, for the worlds of Bia. So Malchus, because it's a Keser for Bia, Nikra Makor Chayim, the Bri Yitzirasi. So Malchus is called the source of life, where Bri Yitzirasi gets its life from. Shah Keser Makor V'Shoirish, because Keser is the source and root, just like Keser of Atzilus is the source and root for Atzilus. The same thing when Malchus becomes an Atik for Bia, so it's the source and root, it's the Makor Chayim of the worlds that are created, worlds Bri Yitzirasi. V'lechein Makor Chayim l'chol olmus Bri Yitzirasi, the source of life to all the worlds of Bri Yitzirasi. Shasham Maschal Inyan Olmus, the true idea of created worlds begins with Bia. Atzilus is still Olakus. The idea of creation begins with Bia. So therefore, what is the source of the life of Bia? Malchus Datzilus, it's Malchus Datzilus Shnasa Keser, Atik Lebri Tzirasi, it's a Keser, it becomes an Atik for Bia. Vehu, and now again, like we said before, Imcha Mekor Chaim, not Ata Mekor Chaim. It's not that Malchus Datzilus is Ata, but it's only Imcha, it's only with you. Vu be'emes rak bechinas Imcha v'tafel bechinas Atzmus Atzilus. Malchus Datzilus is only with you, an ancillary and auxiliary to the essence of Atzilus. That's why it doesn't say Ki Ata Mekor Chaim. It says only Imcha Mekor Chaim, because you yourself, the essence of Atzilus, is higher even than becoming a Keter for Bia, higher even than becoming a source of life for Bia. Amnam yet. By a Jewish person, there's an even higher thing than the source of life. The source of life is only Malchus, not Atzmus, but a Yid taps it higher. He can also grab hold of the light of the essence and the very being of Atzilus. It's your light, not something that's secondary to you, which is Ner Mitzvah v'Torah. The candles are mitzvah and the Torah is light. Nirאה, and with your light, the light becomes visible. Through this, the light becomes visible also concerning the worlds of Bri Yitzir Asiya until this physical world. For example, where do we see how something that's higher than the world comes down into the world, not just the source of life, not just the imcha part, not just the Malchus Datzilus, but something beyond all of that comes into the world. As we know concerning what it says, that Hashem desired to have a home down here below specifically. What's the idea of a home? A home doesn't just mean something that's ancillary, imcha, something that's only with you lives in the home. But rather the home is a place for the very essence. In the home, the very essence of the one that lives in it is to be found there. Until there are times and occasions where a person can be standing undressed in his home. That's how much his comfort level and his essence is there in the home. This is not, heaven forbid, something that he would be doing outside to stand undressed. When there's someone else that sees him. Like, we're talking here about Hashem, who's a king. He can't be visible outside of a place that's his home. It's a halacha that one of the aspects of the respect that we're supposed to have for a king is a king may not be seen when he's undressed. It's the opposite of kingship. Yet, in the home, there he can be undressed. But in his home, there are times that it becomes revealed in his very essence and being. In such a way that your master will not be covered over by any garments, without any garments whatsoever. And this revelation that's to be found in a home comes about down here below. So that's what we see. Even though this world comes about in a way of Ki'imcha Mekor Chaim, it's not Hashem's very essence. It's only Malchus Datzilus. That's only Tafel a bottle. It's only auxiliary to the essence of Atzilus. But through באורך Nirאה, through Torah mitzvahs, Ner mitzvah v'Torah, there we have not Imcha, but Hashem's very essence comes down here in a diram. He says in line 26, that's where it says that with you is the source of life, and with your light will become seen. There's two aspects that the pasuk is explaining and saying. First, he says the greatness of the matter. Shakadosh Baruch Hu Makor Chayim Shel Ka'olam Bri Yitzira Asvasiyah. That Hashem is the source of life of the worlds of Bri Yitzira Asiyah. Va'af shezeu inin shel tafel harei ze imcha tafel achal la'asmas v'hus. Even though it's something ancillary and secondary, it's something that's secondary to you, to the very essence of the Eibishter. Shegam zeh davar nifla. Also, this is a wondrous thing. A gewaltige Zach. It's an unbelievable thing. Imi yoisei davar tafel. Even though, top of page as well. Even though it's a secondary thing. Like we said before, we brought from the Alter Rebbe, that's not the main aspect of godliness that gives life to worlds, but no one's going to deny that to give life to all the worlds, even Biriya Tzirasiya, is an amazing feat. So that's the first thing, that the amazing feat that the Eibishter give life to all the worlds, even though it's only a secondary part of the Eibishter. That's one message that the pasuk is telling us. This amazing accomplishment, this amazing thing that Hashem gives life to the world. Well, is line 3. Afterwards, Nemar Yisayim Mazet says something additional to this. באורך נראה, with your light will be seen and visible. Concerning the life that's mentioned earlier, there has to be the idea of light. And what type of light has to be in this life? What's the true light in the life of the worlds? It's in your light. The candle is the mitzvah, and the Torah is light. Now, the Rebbe is going to bring in Ois Dalet a totally new concept of the Beoרך Nirah. What is the? So he's going to explain as follows. Another concept of the Baoרך Nirah, like the Besim Adrush, like the Alter Rebbe adds at the conclusion of the Maimer, the Pirush Baoרך Nirah, explaining this phrase: with your light, the light will be visible. The Gam Anachnu Nirah. The Nirah means also us. Also, Yidden will become visible. What's it mean we will become visible? Sheni anachnu am bnei Yisrael nisroim lefanov ledavar chashuv. That now we will become visible before Him as a matter of importance. We become visible. We become seen. What does that mean? Since we are the ones through the Torah mitzvahs that cause that the light becomes seen, so since we are contributing and part of the process of the light becoming seen, so then that makes us as well important. So we are also becoming seen and valued and important through this light that we are manifesting and revealing through Neir Mitzvah Torah. So the Rebbe is going to explain this. Line 12. The idea behind this is the drawing down of your light to the worlds of Bri Yitzira Asiyam. It's only possible to happen through the Bnei Yisrael. This Baoרך Nirah. Otherwise, it's just Imcha Makor Chayim, only Malchus Datzilis. Who brings down the Ba'orcha, the Dir B'tachtoinim, Hashem's very essence? Only Yid. Kimavur B'kam Makayim, like it's explained in many places, Shakol, Ha'ilmis, V'chol, Nevroim, Chutz, V'bnei Yisrael, and V'chinas Oimdim. All the worlds and all creations, including Malachim, except for Yidden, are considered standing still. They are limited. Since these all the worlds and all the levels and all the malachim are measured and bounded, they can only draw down something that is measured and bounded. It has a limitation. So it should be your very essence, your very light, the Eibishter's very essence. It's only through the Yidden Kivin shekibla Torah mekayim mitzvahs, since they accepted the Torah and received the Torah and fulfilled the mitzvahs. And only when Yidden actually fulfill it becomes a mitzvah. The tefillin is only a mitzvah when a Yid puts them on his arm. Therefore, so through the Yidden, the light becomes revealed down here. And therefore, as we're going to go on to explain tomorrow, since only through us the light becomes visible down here, so we become now important as well, because we are the ones that are enabling this light to be visible.